need to get something together for dinner. Yeah, we definitely gotta do that. Worst comes to worst, I'll just order something, but I'm trying to avoid that so I don't spend too much money. Yeah, I can't have nothing in this kitchen with these puppies. Like, so I'm gonna empty out this whole kitchen. Like, there can't be nothing in here. I mean, nothing. Just towels. And that's it. Oh, I gotta peel those carrots too. They're starting to get a little old. Anyways, so yep. Little shit. I know you got a little mess everywhere, right? Yeah, you know. It's my Friday at least. One last night. All I gotta do is work tonight and then my 2 days off. Somebody wants money. Somebody wants money. What is this? Somebody to look into that. Yeah, I don't need a fucking loan. What are you talking about here? Let me see. Yeah, I don't need it. Garbage. Turns out it was garbage, y'all. Forgot. Throw a couple more items in there, right? Alright. That should be good. Bags. Bag is inside the bag. Check. Garbage can. I'm about ready to throw the garbage can away, like. Honestly, I don't need it. It rarely gets used and maybe I'll put this one in this will be our bathroom garbage can. I don't know, cause I did throw the little one for the bathroom away. Maybe I'll put that one in the bathroom. Hey! What are you doing? Calm down. I got my clicker.
My teammates suck.
I did. I gotta fix this, but it ain't gonna happen today, so we'll put it up there for now. Jojo, what are you doing? Leave my dogs alone.
No.
Shut up and leave my dogs alone.
No. How did he get up?
bag. Napkins can stay over here. That looks like garbage right here. Yeah, Star, we can't have nothing in here. Nothing. It's gotta be empty. Damn puppies are just biting stuff. They're starting to get destructive, little fuckers. Who goes it? What did I say? Oh, Dylan. Hey, thank you. Yeah, the doggies are pretty damn cute. Let me see if somebody's still on there. I can see the little puppies. They're growing. That's Mama Star. Crazy. This is her crew right here. She had 3 puppies. Anybody out there looking to get a doggy? You love dogs? Hey, I got lots of them. If you ever need one, let me know. I just got more. Look at these little cuties right here. They're so cute. This crazy mama right here. It's the crazy mama, Mama Star. She is crazy, actually. 2 girls, 1 boy. Look at him. Look at that. Look at that cuteness level right there. Oh my God, I can't take it. You fuckers. How can something be so damn cute? My little puppy died. Oh shit. Advice on girls for boys? What do you mean? What do you mean, Willie off-brand Wonka? What's going on? People, what's happening? Oh, how to get girls to like you? Make them laugh. That usually works. To get a girl to laugh. That usually works. Hey, start working out. Hey, that sometimes works too. Some girls are shallow like that. Or do what I do. Just wait. Somebody will come around eventually. That's all I ever do. I just wait. You know, I'm always just like, eventually somebody will come around and they'll like me. I'm not too picky, so you know, I'll like them right back. Yeah, my little puppy died. That's fucked up. Where did the doggy die from? You said from the Philippines? Damn. I live in San Francisco. You're on the other side of the planet. Alright, this floor I need to wash. If I can throw those in, and I can vacuum in here and mop. So for now, we'll leave it like that. I can focus on something else for now. I gotta do something for dinner. What am I doing? I didn't take nothing out. I didn't take nothing out, but I might have an idea. Let me see. What do we got? What do we got? That's it. We got ground beef. We got tortillas. I see tomatoes. Is that lettuce or is that? That's cabbage. Now, where's the lettuce? Yeah, I gotta do something about this situation here. I'll start clearing up my little section here. I got this whole little fucking... I swear, I always do this shit right here. I'm always like, fuck. out and then I go and pile up some more shit. Game over. Game over, game over, game over. Game over? I don't know what you mean, but yes. Game over. Flip, 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 flip. Oh, a song like that, you know? I see banana. You see banana. I don't know where. Banana? Banana? I'm gonna need you to move in a second though, Star, okay? Come on out there. I wanna wash the dishes in a second. They're sleeping. The babies are sleeping. And then just light it, see what happens? Next time. Next time we'll try that, huh? Alright, so where we at here? We got a bunch of carrots. Check. I got a container. I got a bunch of carrots. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Merwin. Alright, it's 5:30. Let's think, Greg. Let's think here. Oh, Kerwin? I got you. Alright, Kerwin, I got you. Easy to remember. Just one letter change, easy to remember. Gosh. It's like I know what I gotta do, but I'm like, just like, I don't want to. All this fucking crap we're out here. Alright, let's start off by putting something on the iPad, right? Turn on the news, y'all. See what happened today out there in the world. Did we blow it up yet or not?
Or later this hour, and that's all coming up just ahead, so stay tuned. The class quitting at 2. Not here. Hold steady until 3. You want to entertain? Well, I do. I love it.
Regardless who they are, making sure that more than 60 million Americans who live with disabilities are treated.
I'll put that right there. Alright, I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm chilling. For the old face, I feel a little dry today.
Listen to full episodes of Meet the Press wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, I'm Hallie. We are coming on the air with fast-moving developments and prices spiking. As anybody who has been to the grocery store has seen, what does this mean for people? Cheap and not talking like on me. And even though they're ridiculous, more Americans
Feels much better now. I like this stuff. I'm gonna buy this again. I like it.
All right, welcome back. A new report out from the CDC shows
Pretty good.
autism rates have gone up over the past couple of decades. Something researchers say is largely due to increased testing and awareness.
Doesn't have no scent or anything. It's just regular good little lotion.
In 2022 were diagnosed with autism.
Yeah, no scent at all. Nice.
Nearly 10 years
I like
ago,
it.
the rate was 1 in 54.
The scented ones make me sneeze for some reason. They have me sneezy.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has often linked rising autism rates to vaccines, even though dozens of studies have never found the link. Still, RFK Jr. has set up a federal study to revisit this theory and even brought in a vaccine skeptic to help oversee the process. So to break this all down, we're going to bring in NBC's medical contributor, Dr. Kavita Patel. Thanks, Doctor, for joining us. First, what are your big takeaways from these findings? Yeah, Allison, this is not a surprise. It is kind of concerning that rates are on the rise, but I would also pair that with the fact that as a primary care doctor, we're also incredibly more vigilant, and there are a lot more people trained to recognize autism early. So it reinforces some of what you mentioned and what the CDC found. So the CDC is already researching any potential links between autism and vaccines. Did this report make any mention of that? Yeah, so the CDC report actually kind of reiterated what it's been saying candidly for years and years, that is that there is no association between autism and vaccines. So I think this is something that, while there's no new data to refute that, there's still just decades of evidence that the CDC kind of underscored, but noted, and in many of the studies kind of cited that there still are no links.
It's only me now.
Oh, it happens. Kennedy Jr. says he's working with the CDC to find a cause of autism by later this year. Let's take a listen to that.
We've launched a massive testing and research effort that's going to involve hundreds of scientists from around the world. By September, we promote as caused the autism epidemic will be
So the Philippines, is it nighttime over there or daytime?
So do you think that is realistic what he's saying there, considering what research is showing about wide-ranging factors that could cause autism?
Joe, where's that biter? Where's Mr. Bite stuff?
It's not, and I'm so sorry, Liz.
You bite something over
I'm
there?
sure you do a proper day to do this
Huh?
speak to me. So no.
Oh, hell no, he can't bite himself either?
Not realistic to think.
No, I'm just messing around, alright.
I have mad respect for you. No way in any study be done. I would love to see a study that could be done that quickly, but when we're talking about trial recruitment, making sure that the trial protocols are above reproach and that nothing can be questioned, putting all that together by next September 2026 is unrealistic. And even writing up there is to say, we want to look into all causes, whatever they may be, whether they be genetic, the environment, nutrition, the way that children are receiving care for other illnesses, because we see autism appeal with other illnesses as well. All of those things should be on the table. That's a great set of studies to do. By the way, it's been something the NIH has been trying to do, and I think that they should continue researching that. But putting that statement out, it gives a lot of families unfortunately false hope. And I think it puts, unfortunately, science in a question mark, because the validity of science, the way we do these trials, all of a sudden becomes suspect when we say that we don't quickly. Absolutely. Great final note. Thank you, Doctor, so much for joining us. Hope to see you soon. Thank you. All right, coming up, hanging on for dear life. We are going to show you the incredible rescue after going to the side of a plane. But first, you've got to see this. Store can take a whole village in Chelsea, Michigan. 300 people showed up to literally pass books by hand to move a bookstore to its new location. As you can see, it's been insane. Moving the store in under 2 hours. We're going to be neighbors like that. I love that. We'll be right back. Like Grace said, it's still living in the bookstore.
Like as soon as you spawn in, somebody's already shooting at you.
They don't even see you. They turn around, they see you, and they just like, oh, what is this? And then they beat you up here, and then die like you're dead. Living spaces. Oh, geez, way better. I don't know why you asked that yet. I thought it was gonna be hella fun. That shit's not even fun. That shit is all gross. No food, all gross.
That guy's losing it. Fortnite making him go crazy. Let me see. It says there's 2 people on there. That's my son, a little guy. Playing Fortnite. Do you play? You play games? Anybody out there play the Fortnite game? Or the Roblox? I don't play no games. My little guy does.
Turning out the ongoing trade war with China, here in LA, an estimated 40% of all imports into the U.S. through the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. From many workers at the docks to the small businesses surrounding the area, concern is rising about these tariffs that can impact them. According to the CEO of the Port of Long Beach, U.S. shipping containers means fewer hours and smaller paychecks for workers.
So what that means is lots of jobs. I mean, when you think about the city of Long Beach, 1 in 5 jobs provide some work here for Long Beach, and a regional component to it, 1 in 9 jobs. And throughout the supply chain in the United States, 2.6 million jobs are directly or indirectly related to the operation of Long Beach. So, again, it's a significant number.
Let's bring NBC News correspondent Steve Patterson live from San Diego, California. Steve, I know you've been down there all day at the port. Talk to us about the ports, the workers,
I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, let's think about it. Everything in this community is really dependent upon what happens in the port. So 40% of the goods, as you mentioned, that come through this country, come through these ports. And because of where they're geographically located, a lot of that...
I'll watch these. It's been a while since I watched them fucking. It says I'm going to drink something. What's that, some water? What you drinking on over there? Rice wine, rice liquor? Just the strong stuff? When I was growing up, one of my best friends was Vietnamese. I remember going over to his dad's house a lot, and his dad would always be making that rice wine, or rice liquor. That shit was strong. That's some fuck you up right there. Milo? What is Milo? What am I making, buddy? I have no idea. I'm washing the dishes first. I'm not even in making mode yet. For what? That's fine. Oh, yeah, the bike's in the way. Okay.
You don't want to gouge them. They're getting gouged everywhere else. This is a safe zone.
We don't want to gouge them, yo.
It's such a catch because you have the price of coffee beans rising, so she has to charge more for a cup of coffee to workers who are going to come in less because they simply can't afford it. That knock-on effect is terrible for people here. They're hoping the situation changes in the next few weeks or so. This.
Yeah, well, Steve, I was going to ask you, when could they start to notice these changes? But it sounds like you're hearing from people that are already feeling the effects.
Right. They are, and it's strange though, because a lot of the bigger businesses caught wind of this before the tariffs even started. They knew that this was going to happen. So what actually we're seeing right now is more freight moving through the ports than usual. In fact, year over year from 2024, more freight has moved through the port of Long Beach than we saw last year, to the tune of about 25% more, 2.5 million containers so far this year, because everybody's trying to front load their cargo, get it through before they really feel the effects of this. But we won't really truly know the effects until at least the next few weeks or even months or so. And even then, I spoke to the CEO of Long Beach Port. He says he's recklessly optimistic that things will change, that someone will come to the negotiation table because, again, livelihoods are on the line here, dependent upon what happens at the White House. Liz?
Absolutely. Scary for a lot of people. NBC's Steve Patterson. Thanks, Steve. Okay, consumer confidence in the economy has gone downhill ever since the trade war got underway. Consequences could be far-reaching and impact everyone. NBC's Yasmin Vasugian caught up with some Gen Zers to see what they think.
If you're in your 40s and you're making $100,000, maybe you got a kid at home, are you going to feel successful?
It just depends.
I'm going to probably need a little bit more just because of the cost of living. If you're in your 40s and you're making $200,000, will you feel successful?
Yeah, I think that would clear it.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I'm there. Yeah, I'm getting there.
The American dream, now more costly than ever.
Raise your hand if you're making $300,000 in your 40s, will you feel successful?
I'm gonna just go get them, because these kids will never bring
And
them
even
down.
that might not be enough for some, with a recent poll showing that the average Gen Zer says they'll need more than $500,000 a year to feel successful.
I don't think our generation can budget their way out of this crisis.
25-year-old Emma Edney was recently working in consulting and now looking for a new job. Jaden Thompson, 22, an aspiring UFC fighter, works in waste management. McGregor Grant is 27 and works in media. Jarlene Rivera is a 21-year-old pharmacy technician and content creator.
Raise the hand, how many of you have watched what's been going on with the markets? I'm sure your investments weren't doing well this last week.
Nah, but it wasn't. But at the end of the day, you always got to stick to the plan. Our president is trying to make a change that I believe he will. I'm not really concerned about it. He's a businessman.
I'm frustrated because I don't understand why we're losing some of our soft power by aggravating our trade partners.
I feel like the long-term effect is just going to be the world at large taking our kind of trade stuff much less seriously.
With young adults hitting major life milestones like marriage and financial independence later in life, there's anxiety over whether the American dream is achievable for them.
Do you feel like hard work pays off now? It's like really hard to say.
Our generation is starting behind, loaded with student loans, higher interest rates, housing costs exploding.
Finding a spot to rent in the city is hard, and with mortgage rates going up again, buying a home seems out of reach. A survey published last year showed nearly a third of Gen Z adults, under 26 at the time, still lived with their parents.
I'll walk past like a real estate place and just see listings, and I'm just like, that's an amount of money that just seems like I can't even imagine. It feels kind of insurmountable.
Every time I get paid, it's either my car payment I have to pay and car insurance and then my phone bill. So it's like so much at once hitting me, and then my credit card that I have to pay off.
Darlene and Jaden are engaged and planning for their future.
We're trying our best to just stay with our parents and like not waste like so much at a time, but it's hard to see. It's happening. hard to see a path right now, especially with the amount that I'm getting paid.
Jarlene overwhelmed, but her fiance optimistic, tying their future financial success to personal effort.
Where's your confidence coming from?
Just keep on working, staying disciplined.
While Emma and McGregor feel the barriers are systemic.
If the cost of childcare isn't lowered, if the cost of housing isn't lowered, if honestly, like overall healthcare, it's on us to be our own retirement plans.
Do you feel as if you are judged because of assumptions made about your generation?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's like every generation. They always ask that down. You guys are easy, this and that.
I think there's an assumption that Gen Z is ungrateful, difficult to work with, expecting things that we don't deserve, and the reality is much of our generation is working really hard.
They still have some hope in the American dream.
I know that
Where
this
you
is a
go?
country where people can achieve their
I got a
dreams.
lot to deal with.
It's just getting harder and harder to do that.
For these young adults just starting their own lives, the uncertainty is inescapable.
NBC's Yasmin Vesuvian for that fascinating report. Thank you. All right, here are some stories that are happening out west here that we're following. You got to see this. A wild rescue caught on camera in California. Authorities say a hiker was holding on for her life, literally, by hanging onto a cliff for over an hour until help arrived.
Damn.
The woman was able to reach 911 through her Garmin-type emergency communications device. The video shows she was rescued from the cliff with some cuts on her leg, but otherwise with no apparent injuries. And okay, get ready for
Why do
LA
you look
2028. The
sad?
organizing committee for the next Summer Olympics announced some new
That's a long
venues
story.
for games.
We don't want to get into that right
Dodger
now.
Stadium for baseball's big return and Alamitos Beach for volleyball. You'll also notice some sports that you didn't see back in 2024. Flag football, softball, cricket, lacrosse, and squash. And Arizona public schools must ban certain ultra-processed foods, according to a new law. Foods like Pop-Tarts, Fruit Loops, and Doritos will no longer be sold or served in schools. However, the law doesn't stop parents from sending these snacks to school with their kids. The law was backed by HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. All right, still to come, a handful of prisons in France were attacked by gunfire and arson. Those details plus other stories trending around the world coming up next.
I should be sleeping, that's what I should be doing. But who else gonna do all this stuff? If I don't do it, ain't nobody gonna do it. It's up to me. It's up to me to keep this household running smoothly. I'm always use a phone. I don't know, use a laptop. I mean, a phone nowadays is pretty much just like a laptop. You're not missing out on much. Oh, morning time? Damn. What time? What time in the morning?
Is NBC News Now. The NBC News mobile app. Get connected to your favorite news shows. For the top stories, breaking news, and live video, download the NBC News mobile app now. Kristen Welker hosts Meet the Press every Sunday on NBC. NBC News Daily. Weekdays from 12 to 4 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back. President Trump's trade war with China has reached a fever pitch. And now social media out of China is launching a full-court press through memes, diss tracks, and TikToks, even pushing U.S. customers to cut out American brands and buy direct from the factories. NBC's Camila Bernal has the latest.
China
They're the videos seen by millions of Americans.
Let's not be poisoned and misled by the market campaign any longer.
That seem too good to be true.
We have like thousands of them in stock.
TikTokers claiming to work at Chinese factories that make high-end products and offering to sell them directly to Americans for much, much cheaper. The goods range from Birkenstocks,
$10.
Oh, it's getting real out there.
Hello, boss. I'm in Nike Shoes wholesale factory in China.
and Lululemon workout clothing.
Who are the suppliers behind Lululemon?
One video garnering 11.9 million views.
Here in these two factories, you can get them for around $5 to $6.
But Lululemon says the claims made in the videos are not true. Though the company says it manufactures about 3% of its finished goods in China, a spokesperson telling NBC News, Lululemon does not work with the manufacturers identified in the online videos, and we urge consumers to be aware of potentially counterfeit products and misinformation. Authentic Lululemon products are only available for purchase at our Lululemon store locations, registered Lululemon e-commerce sites, and select authorized and specialty stores. And if you were tempted by that super cheap Louis Vuitton handbag,
Louis Vuitton has various Chinese suppliers, but they just don't admit it.
know that the company has long maintained its products are made only in Europe and the United States, as it currently states on its website. Louis Vuitton, Nike, and Birkenstock have not responded to our request for comment.
Besides price, I think even more important is the authenticity of the products, the quality of it.
Professor Shen Lu, whose research focuses on the global apparel industry, including international trade policy, says even if the factory did produce that hot handbag you want, they likely would not be licensed to sell it outside of its contract with the brand you know.
They do not only control where they source their products, but also they control where consumers can
Is
buy.
9 for me? Not yet.
And encourages shoppers to be
Right now
aware
it
of
is
the context in which
5:48.
these misleading offers have surfaced. They come amid an onslaught of memes, many of them appearing to be AI generated, coming out of Chinese social media as the trade war rages on. From this video mocking the idea of Americans, or at least caricature of Americans doing low-wage factory work, to this one that says the cards the U.S. is playing were made in China. And even the Chinese embassy based in D.C.
The
blasting
Chinese got
everything from
jokes, that's
American
cool.
transportation to high price tags. This trade war turned internet beef doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon.
This is good.
All right, Camila Bernal, thank
This is
you.
all good
Let's
news
get a
to me.
check around the world now. Russia, they are cracking down on journalists, convicting 4 people of extremism today. The 4 are accused of once working for late opposition leader Alexei Navalny, part of some sort of anti-corruption group. They were each sentenced to 5.5 years behind bars. They all maintain that they are innocent, arguing they were prosecuted for their work as journalists. Iraq hit by a sweeping sandstorm last night, creating poor visibilities in some areas.
What
with
is your
cars
first
driving
favorite
through thick
YouTuber?
fog there, even pulling over on the sides of the road. A health official reported over
I don't
1,000
follow, I don't know.
cases of
I don't know nothing about
suffocation
people like
as people
that.
were admitted to hospitals. Iraq has some pretty extreme
I'm not
temperatures.
that kind of
with
person. I don't know any
widespread drought.
YouTubers or
And a
anybody.
bunch of prisons in France, they were attacked overnight. Yeah, the wave of gun and arson attacks hit at least 6
My little guy
different
probably knows more
prisons.
about that
The
sort of
country's
stuff
justice
than
minister
anything.
says
I
they
don't
were
know.
targeted against security officials who are guarding some of the nation's most notorious convicts. It comes as the country is clamping down on drug trafficking there. And police in Bolivia making a staggering discovery, seizing 2.5 tons of cocaine, all of it worth a whopping $7 million. The drug bust took place last week, also seizing firearms and arresting 3 Colombian nationals. All right, and before we go, the story of an overnight millionaire, a man that was just living on the streets. Well, he just hit the jackpot. We're going to tell you his incredible story next, so stay tuned.
What you got over there? Better not be biting on my wires. Hey! Bite on my wires, I'm biting on your tail. It's a new rule around here. A bite for a bite.
No, hold on. Use this.
Alright, like guess. Now I gotta rinse them out, right?
How's that?
Rinse. You think it's hot enough, the water? It's just steaming. Wait, so Crazy Old Joe, wait a minute. Man, I forget all that. Do I know WWE? Yeah, I do. I mean, not lately, but back in like the early 2000s, you know, when it was good. Like back when Stone Cold Steve Austin was around, Triple H, The Rock. Who they got nowadays? Like what? You're 7? Oh, I'm like, let me see, 7 times. I'm 7 times 5 plus 3. Well, shit, you don't play the little Fortnite game? I told you my little guy plays. My little guy's 9.
All right, welcome back. We're going to take a look at
Maybe
the
y'all can play together on the Fortnite
social media.
or something.
But could it come back to bite you? But first, here are
Roblox.
some of the future of everything headlines. A woman from Alabama who was living with a pig kidney for a record 130 days had surgery last week to take the organ out. Tawana Looney's body began to reject the kidney, and she's now back on dialysis. Scientists are altering pig organs to make them more suitable for humans because of the severe shortage of transplantable organs. And these are the most detailed images of the Titanic ever taken. We have these underwater mapping company, Magellan, and they took 750,000 images of the famous 1912 wreck with 2 submersibles. And after months of piecing them together, they now have a digital twin since the boat is too fragile to
I don't know how that works, but whatever, you know, like the name or whatever it is.
Twin
I have my little guy look you up.
With a precise model to gain insight into the
he's always playing either that or
Fortnite. We're going to talk about ChatGPT's new image generation model. It is helping people turn themselves into AI action figures and Barbie dolls. Well, the results, that kind of depends on the prompt.
I started playing with ChatGPT and I created my own little action figure, Kathy on camera. It'll turn you into a Barbie, packaging and all.
They even include little items that are specific and obviously related to who you are as a person.
I asked ChatGPT to give me long hair, and it took that extremely literally. I first prompted it with this photo and I gave it a bunch of things that I like. Sourdough, Twilight, like pickleball, you know. This was the first result, like, okay.
All right, so not perfect, but still popular. I'm sure you've seen it on your Instagram. So the question is, what legal risks come with giving chatbots your selfie? And what about the artists whose style is being used to train ChatGPT? So let's get into all of this with NBC News legal analyst Angela Sanadella. Angela, thanks for joining us. Let's start with image and likeness concerns here. What happens when you give OpenAI your picture, and then can you actually ever take that selfie back later?
No, you really can't. So the issue here with OpenAI is that you are actively consenting to give them your data, give them your image, and give them your likeness. Now then, what can OpenAI or any similar platform do with that? Well, the limits then are governed by 2 things. One, whatever laws out there exist for privacy, and the major ones there are in California, or a European one called GDPR. And those basically say that this organization, this company can do whatever you consent to, right? So then you look at, well, what have you consented to? That leads you to the privacy policy, which I've reviewed, and their privacy policy is similar to all of the others out there. But the issue is that what they can do is extremely broad, right? It's literally whatever they want to, so long as it is bettering their services to you. The issue with a company like OpenAI is that they're constantly evolving their services, so you really have no idea what they're going to be doing with your image and your likeness. But that said, as I said earlier, look, they are limited by law, so it's not like they can do fraudulent things with your image. They can't sell the dark web for profit, etc. They are limited by what you consented to, which is to improve your services.
Interesting. Well, then there's also, like with so many of these AI issues, the copyright issue here. How hard is it for artists to prove in court that AI models trained on their work if they believe that they did?
So in cases like this is very different, okay? So when they are artist renditions like this, then the input that you are asking for, things like in the style of, right? So when terms like in the style of are used, or inspiration, you actually have almost no copyright protections whatsoever, right? Because if we did have that, then entire genres of music and of art would just be wiped out. If anything that was inspired by something was then going to entirely disappear. But that said, again, there are limits, right? And in cases like this, if these artists have not consented to have any of their work even be considered or be a part of this, that's where we see lawsuits happening, like, for example, with the New York Times. So it all comes down to consent. If you give them your image, or if you give them your artwork and let them train off of you, then you're allowing them to do what they want. But if you are not giving them any consent whatsoever, it can become a little trickier if the output is substantially similar to what you have created. So it's a legal standard of substantial similarity, not in the style of.
Very complicated stuff here. Angela, thank you for breaking it down for us. All right, finally tonight, a little bit of luck can go a long way. A man living on the streets here in California recently won a big jackpot from a ticket bought at a liquor store. Our friends at our Central California station, they have the good news.
That's the ticket right there. Wilson Simon has worked at Sandy's Liquor since 2013 and tells me that this is the first time someone has ever won a prize of this size. He says the winner is a longtime customer who is also homeless.
He came to the store, he scratched it, was like, oh my God, is that real? Wilson, can you come and take a look? I'm like, let me see. So I grabbed the ticket out of his hand. I went to the machine over there. He's like, I'm not homeless anymore. I'm like, man, you hit the jackpot. He's like, 100,000. I'm like, no, bro, that's $1 million. That's $1 million ticket. Congrats, brother. Yeah, so we'll give each other a high five.
What goes through your mind when someone who shops here so often wins a ticket like this?
A lot. It's like a lot of happiness for the person, especially like a person or a loyal, regular customer daily. I wish him all the best.
Simon did more than just confirm the winning ticket.
I drove him to Fresno, I think the next day or Wednesday. So he's like, do you want to send it in the mail? That's $1 million ticket. No, I will drive you there.
I spoke with a spokesperson from the California Lottery who told me what has to be done before the money is awarded.
With $1 million winner like this, what the person who comes forward can expect is a very thorough vetting process. As you can imagine, we give away a lot of prize money at the California Lottery, and we're happy to do it, but we want to make sure we're giving it to the right person.
She says this vetting process can take anywhere from a few weeks to a couple months and involves an interview with the winner, checking to see if the person owes the state any money, and a few other factors.
We process in California over 10,000 winning claims a month. So that's part of why it takes a little bit of time.
While I was at Sandy's, the winner came in to buy a few more tickets. He declined an on-camera interview, but tells me that this is a life-changing amount of money, and that he intends to make a down payment on a home here on the Central Coast, get a car, and then invest and save the rest.
Lucky man there. Can we all get a little bit of it? All right, the luck is what I mean. Nice to see good things happen to people who need it. All right, that does it for us tonight. I'm Liz Price. We'll see you back here tomorrow. But until then, stay tuned now.
Stay tuned, baby. Stay tuned.
Tonight, the school shooting in Texas. Multiple students injured. The massive police response after a gunman opened fire this afternoon.
For real?
Chilling scenes of students filing out of the building, others sprinting across campus. 4 students injured, and police say the shooter is still on the run.
The shooter's still out there?
Showdown. The judge overseeing the case of that Maryland man mistakenly sent to El Salvador, now considering holding the Trump administration in contempt. His wife's plea after President Trump said he's not bringing him back. Harvard versus the White House. The Trump administration pulling billions in funding from the Ivy League school after it refused to agree to their list of demands. How it could impact everyday Americans. New drone tracking technology. The FAA launching a new drone detection system in New Jersey. Is it connected to the widespread drone sightings from last fall? Summer travel slowdown. United Airlines announcing plans to decrease domestic flights after a drop in demand. What it means for your travel plans. Fiery rescue. Dramatic body cam footage capturing the moment a man was pulled from a burning car. How a routine traffic stop ended up in flames. And too good to be true. These TikTokers claiming to work at Chinese factories making American products, saying they're selling items from Nike and Lululemon for a fraction of the price. So is it the real deal? Plus, the new report from the CDC, how autism rates are on the rise. Top story starts right now. Good evening, I'm Ellison Barber in for Tom Yamas. We begin tonight with the school shooting in Dallas, Texas, and the manhunt for the shooter. This was the scene this afternoon at Wilmer Hutchins High School. Police flooding the campus looking for the shooter. Authorities say 4 students were injured and taken to local hospitals. They say they have identified the suspect and are now racing to find them. Social media video capturing the chaos on campus as concerned parents rush to make sure their kids are safe. An eerily similar scene playing out at the same school almost exactly a year ago when a student shot another student in the leg inside of a classroom. That incident leading the high schoolers to stage a walkout, protesting what they said was a lack of security on campus. Tonight, the students shaken and left wondering, how did a gun get on campus yet again? NBC's Jay Gray is in Dallas and leads us off.
We got an active shooter, Wilmer Hutchins High School.
Tonight, panic and chaos inside a Dallas high school.
Oh man, the kids are just running out, all of them. They're running out in floors, man. Hundreds of kids running out.
Teachers rushing to lock doors and hiding with students as the gunshots ring out.
I saw him walk by, and then like 2 seconds later, I heard like 6 shots, and this teacher ran to the door and closed it and told us to hide in the corner.
Parents getting heartbreaking messages from their kids trapped inside.
She texted us and telling us that she loved us, like that if anything happened to her, that she was just letting us know that she loved us.
This shooting, just a year and 3 days after a shooting at the same high school last year, injured a student.
This is going on too much at this school. Last year, my oldest son was a senior here, and it was a shooting. Now he's here. Same thing going on. It's ridiculous.
4 students were injured, 3 with gunshot wounds. Officials say the school is now secure, but students are still overwhelmed.
That important Roblox.
I heard one of my classmates say that they saw a bullet had came through our door window. So like that's when my heart really sunk. And I'm sorry.
And asking questions.
I feel like the security, they weren't really like doing their job at the moment because how would the gun get in the school in the first place?
And Jay Gray joins us now from Dallas. Jay, I understand a news conference just wrapped up. What are we hearing about the suspect who is still in the
Well, Ellison, the campus still locked down and classes have been canceled through at least the end of the week here. Police tell us that they have identified a suspect, but that suspect is not in custody at this time. And that the weapon used in the attack did not come through any of the main entrances at this high school where metal detectors were in place, we are told, and fully operational. We're also just learning of the 4 victims in this case. They're all males, 3 between the ages of 15 and 18.
Jay Gray reporting on the ground there in Dallas, Texas. We appreciate you. Further big story tonight, the battle in court today over that Maryland man mistakenly deported to an El Salvador prison. A federal judge expressed frustration at a hearing today, saying that there is no evidence the Trump administration has taken any steps to bring the man back as they were instructed to. NBC's senior White House correspondent Dave Gutierrez has that for us tonight.
Tonight, a new escalation in the fight between the Trump administration and the federal court system.
I will not stop fighting until I see my husband alive.
Late today, the wife of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the father of 3 deported to a mega prison in El Salvador, walked into a Maryland courthouse where a judge demanded to know what the federal government has done to abide by a court order to return him to the U.S., saying there will be no tolerance for gamesmanship or grandstanding. The White House is arguing that Abrego Garcia was not mistakenly deported. That contradicts earlier statements from a Justice Department prosecutor and the Solicitor General, who acknowledged his deportation as being an administrative error.
He's from El Salvador, so that's a decision up to El Salvador.
Legal experts say the case is about much more than just one deportee. It raises questions about due process for anyone in the U.S.
Abrego Garcia was a foreign terrorist. He is an MS-13 gang member. He was engaged in human trafficking. He illegally came into our country. And so deporting him back to El Salvador was always going to be the end result.
But Abrego Garcia has never been criminally convicted in either country. He did enter the U.S. illegally in 2011. In 2019, an immigration judge determined he should not be deported to his native El Salvador because he might face danger. The other judge agreed evidence showed Abrego Garcia was a member of MS-13, but his attorneys argued that was based on questionable testimony from a confidential informant.
No evidence has been submitted about this allegation, proving this allegation.
The Supreme Court has ruled the Trump administration must facilitate Abrego Garcia's return to the U.S. But the Department of Homeland Security said today if he does show up at a port of entry, the U.S. would either deport him to another country or remove his protected status and send him back to El Salvador. The legal fight is quickly becoming a test case for the limits of presidential power and the country's system of checks and balances.
They need to comply with the Supreme Court's directive, or the Supreme Court needs to enforce its order aggressively, which should include contempt.
And Gabe Gutierrez joins us now from the White House. Gabe, the judge was very clear today. She wants to move quickly. What are the next steps here?
Yeah, Allison, she wants Trump administration officials to submit depositions and evidence within 2 weeks. Now, attorneys for Abrego Garcia want the administration held in contempt for its inaction. And today, the judge suggested that she would consider that. Allison.
Gabe Gutierrez at the White House. Thank you. The Trump administration also escalating a fight tonight at Harvard University, freezing
You sound busy right now, okay? I'll try to get to that when I get a chance to.
List of demands from the president. Trump now saying Harvard's tax-exempt status could be at risk as he attacks the university for promoting what he calls terrorist-supporting sickness. NBC's Stephanie Gosk has more.
Tonight, it's an all-out battle between Harvard University and the Trump administration. The White House accusing the school of not addressing anti-Semitism on campus.
We unfortunately saw that illegal discrimination take place on the campus of Harvard. There are countless examples to prove it.
The Department of Education freezing more than $2 billion in federal money after Harvard refused to accept a long list of demands taking aim at its culture and curriculum. The school's defiance being embraced by some on campus.
I think it was so important because this attack on Harvard wasn't just an attack on Harvard, it's an attack on higher education. And in that sense, it's an attack on a pillar of American civil society.
Today, President Trump also threatening to revoke the university's tax-exempt status, accusing the school of pushing political, ideological, and terrorist-inspired sickness. Harvard University's president says the school has taken steps to address anti-Semitism on campus and calls the federal government's tactics a violation of the school's First Amendment rights. Former President Barack Obama weighing in today, applauding Harvard's decision. Harvard has set an example for other higher ed institutions, rejecting an unlawful and ham-handed attempt to stifle academic freedom. Federal funding has been paused for schools around the country, including Columbia, Penn, Princeton, and Northwestern. The money being used as a cudgel to try to force cultural change. Harvard has the largest endowment of them all, over $53 billion, but there are restrictions over how that money can be spent. So pulling federal grants will still hurt, and the whole country will feel it, according to the president of the American Council on Education.
This freeze will hamper Harvard's ability to produce new technologies, new biomedical discoveries, new outreach in public health. We will be worse shape as a nation because of these freezes
And Stephanie Gosk joins us now in studio. Stephanie, is Harvard preparing for a tough legal fight over this?
It seems like they are. Listen, they've made the allegation that their First Amendment rights have been violated. So that right there sets up a possible federal lawsuit. We also know that they've hired 2 high-profile Republican attorneys. One is the former deputy counsel for President George W. Bush. The other, a special counsel that investigated Joe Biden and his handling of classified records. So that certainly looks like they're putting a team together that may end up in court, Allison.
And Harvard does a lot of research. You mentioned in your report the concerns some people have about what research could potentially be lost. Looking at just a snippet of what Harvard Medical School has done, as well as its alumni. This is from their website. I'll put this up for viewers to see. The smallpox vaccination back in 1799. The first public demonstration of anesthesia,
Takes time
the
doing
first
these things.
descriptions of appendicitis, the first successful kidney transplant in 1952, and then more recently, the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. Those are all advances that have been attributed to Harvard Medical School and or its alumni. Just a few of many.
You know, you look at that list, and what is it mostly? These are health advances.
Right.
And a lot of the research is in the area of health research. Like right now, they're looking into tuberculosis. They have research for ALS. They have research on how radiation affects the human body. You know, I think when you look at this research question, not just for Harvard, but around the country, people don't realize that the bulk of how research is done in this country is university-based. It is how we have had some of our most impressive innovations, from things like the internet to other, really life-changing developments here in this country.
Is there concern now that that research that's ongoing at this moment could be in jeopardy?
So they are freezing $2.2 billion. The school tells us that they're still not sure how that's going to be distributed. And they do have a big endowment, $53 billion. Now, a lot of that money is reserved for certain things. But if there is a school that can take this blow for the team, as it were, it may be Harvard. So they are stepping up. But what they are saying, and what you heard President Obama say in that message, is that there is hope that universities will follow suit to put pressure back on the administration.
Really important reporting. Stephanie Gosk, thank you. And we are learning new details tonight about that arson attack at the Pennsylvania governor's residence, including how the suspect's mother had contacted authorities prior to the attack. NBC's Shaquille Brewster is in Pennsylvania with the latest.
Tonight, the massive cleanup at what is both an active crime scene and the Pennsylvania governor's home. This just 2 days after police say 38-year-old Cody Bommer tried to kill Governor Josh Shapiro by firebombing his house. Dumpsters now lining the yard of the residence, crews walking out with large plastic bags and seen with power washers, even measuring the height of the front gates. Questions mounting about how a man was able to scale the perimeter fence, evade police stationed at the home, and then deploy Molotov cocktails before fleeing without being immediately captured.
Is there any way to not view this as a massive security failure?
Well, everyone's going to want to go that route. But again, nothing's happened to him before that would indicate this. And people get complacent.
Rob D'Aminico is a retired FBI supervisor and runs a security consulting firm.
I think it's really going to change security around the country for politicians, especially governors, that now look at it and say, how vulnerable am I?
The suspect, Cody Bommer, is behind bars, and we're now learning more about concerns raised by his mother. Just last week, she called police about her son. Pembroke police telling NBC News they investigated but weren't able to do anything because Bommer wasn't home, and his mother didn't say he was presenting a danger. In front of a judge Monday, Bommer denied suffering from mental illness and said he was unemployed and most recently living with his parents. An Army spokeswoman says Bommer was in the Army Reserve from 2004 to 2012. The fire chief is now calling Bommer a domestic terrorist and said the historic landmark, built in 1968, and the family and guests of the governor sleeping there during the attack were at a unique risk.
There was a fire alarm system, but not an active fire suppression system, meaning fire sprinklers that would have put the fire out before it spread.
And Shaquille Brewster joins us now from outside the governor's residence in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. The suspect said in court that he was out on bail for a 2023 charge.
Right.
Do we have any information on that charge?
Yeah, that was a case that's still very much pending. In fact, there was a court date on the books for tomorrow, but that since has been moved. In 2023, he was arrested and charged with multiple counts of assault. There was a misdemeanor charges there. But if you look at the criminal complaint, he was accused of hitting 2 of his children and his wife at the time, and also biting her. We also know that he has other charges in his background. You go back to 2015, 2016, he pled guilty to forging checks. So in those instances, those were cases that were closed. But this time around, we know from the arraignment that he will not be released. He was denied bail, so he'll be behind bars, Ellison, for the foreseeable future.
Jack Brewster, thank you. We're back in a moment with the new technology to fight drones in New Jersey after those claims last year of giant drones swarming above. Plus, the Ranger leading the way, the first woman ever to complete this grueling Army training challenge. And luxury goods for less. The offer's going viral. Can you buy American brands cheaper direct from the factory in China? We'll tell you if they're the real deal.
Embrace alfresco living and transform your backyard into a seamless extension of your home with collections from Living Spaces. Designed to blur the lines between cozy indoors and the great outdoors, each piece offers both the comfort you desire and the durability you need. Weather-resistant dining and lounge sets make it easy to entertain and unwind in style. With free shipping as soon as next day, your outdoor retreat is ready to enjoy right away. Discover elevated outdoor collections only at Living Spaces. Living Spaces.
Focus of the day with NBC News Daily. Get in-depth reporting from across the country and around the world, and ways you can take care of your health and your wallet. NBC News Daily, weekdays from 12 to 4 on NBC News Now.
All right, that's fun at least. That's
Hey,
one
I'm
of many
Hallie. We are
steps I
coming on
gotta
the air
do.
with fast-moving developments. Egg prices spiking as anybody who has been in the grocery
Ta-da!
store has seen. What does
Looks
this
better.
mean for people? Cheap
Much
AI.
better.
Talk to me like on me, and you know me. How big of a deal
I gotta
is
take
it?
care of this little corner over here where I got this pile of just crap.
News lives in the now.
After that, we should be good.
Every second. News is
In reality, I want to get something done for dinner, but I can't get started with dinner until this gets cleaned up because it's just driving me crazy.
What was your initial reaction?
Driving me crazy.
Recess appointments. I'm going to ask you to put this into the plainest English possible.
now is trust.
Alright, dryer is done. Check.
News for the generation of now is NBC News Now. The NBC News mobile app. Get connected to your favorite news show. For the top stories, breaking news, and live video, download the NBC News mobile app.
Laundry, it never ends.
Hey, I'm Hallie. We are coming on the air with fast-moving developments. Egg prices spiking, as anybody who has been to the grocery store has seen. What does this mean for people? Cheap AI. Talk to me like I'm me, and you know me. How big of a deal is it?
The NBC News mobile app. Get connected to your favorite news shows. For the top stories, breaking news, and live video, download the NBC News mobile app.
Sorry, I need all these towels. You got all 30 towels. You're laying on 50 towels.
Listen to full episodes of News the Press wherever you get your podcast.
Clean it up, sorry, okay?
We're back now with the FAA testing out new drone detection tests along the New Jersey coast. It comes just months after those reported mysterious sightings there of flashing lights in the skies, setting off hysteria over drone sightings. NBC's Sam Brock has this.
For the first time in months, drones are back on the public radar and hovering over New Jersey skies. As the FAA studies drone detection systems on the Jersey Shore, a project the government says it launched years ago at airports around the country and now is expanding to off-airport locations like this ferry terminal to ensure safety between an increasing number of drones and aircraft. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says it's all about national security.
The FAA is doing this to ensure we can properly detect drones in our airspace and make sure they don't interfere with aircraft navigation systems.
The FAA says the work has no direct connection to the swarm of drone sightings that recently prompted national hysteria. yesterday when they blanketed the skies from Maryland to New Jersey.
There's a lot of panic in the area.
Causing consternation at diners. You get the impression the federal government knows way more than what they're absolutely doing. And frustration from lawmakers. Then, in the first days of the Trump administration, this revelation.
The drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons.
Off-airport testing, the FAA says it's using about 100 of these off-the-shelf drones, in addition to a couple of larger drones, too. Now, it's only taking place during daylight and weekday hours, with all the communities involved being alerted. As for why the off-airport testing, the FAA says that's to make sure the drones don't impact law enforcement and medevac services. More testing will be held at sites in New Mexico, North Dakota, and Mississippi later this year.
And Sam Brock joins us now from Maplewood, New Jersey. So from Alaska to Mississippi, and how did the FAA select these sites?
Yeah, so it's a wide footprint, Allison. When you think about what it is that the FAA is trying to accomplish here, that their drone detection services are interfering with crucial services like military, medevac, law enforcement. So they're testing it out in a variety of different environments. Alaska, for example, one of the coldest places in the United States. Then you have New Jersey, which, according to authorities, is right on the water, and that's a huge plus because it allows them to launch these drones, Allison, without going over residential neighborhoods in the process. So it's a variety of different conditions. It is also worth noting that the FAA testing facility happens to be in New Jersey, which is one of the reasons why it was selected. So there's some coincidence in all of this, that it just so happens that that testing is going on in the state that was mired in the center of this controversy, or at least conversation over what was going on in the sky. But again, just to reinforce this point, the FAA says there is no direct connection between the research that the government is doing and what's happening right now with this multi-year project. Allison, back to you.
Sam Brock in New Jersey.
Yeah, he does. Somebody there? Let me see. Somebody there.
Criminal service members completing an elite event known as the Best Ranger Competition. It's a grueling 3-day challenge involving helicopter missions, obstacle courses, and a whole lot more. But the historic first comes as the future of women in combat roles is being questioned. NBC's Pentagon correspondent Courtney Cuby has the details.
Every year, some of the Army's most elite warriors gathering to test their strength, endurance, and warfighting skills. It's called the Best Ranger Competition, but you may notice there are no women in this video. That changed on Friday, when First Lieutenant Gabrielle White became the first female ranger ever to compete. The West Point grad, climbing ropes, slogging through mud, knocking out pull-ups, and swimming across the water alongside her teammate, Captain Seth Del Pano. Lieutenant White, the only woman on any of the 52 teams during the arduous 3-day, 30-event marathon. They placed 14th, notably making it to the final event even after many other teams dropped out. White, already a trailblazer for becoming a ranger. Ranger school not even opened to female soldiers until 2015, shortly after the military lifted its ban on women in combat roles during the Obama administration.
And I meet extraordinary women in uniform who can do everything that a man can and more.
But the future of that integration increasingly uncertain under President Trump. Before his confirmation, Trump's Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth speaking out against women in combat.
I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat roles. It hasn't made us more effective, hasn't made us more lethal, has made fighting more complicated.
Hegseph's Defense Department publicly congratulating the winners of the competition on X, and sharing another photo of 2 soldiers there firing a mortar, but saying nothing about First Lieutenant White's historic participation. In response to a request from NBC News, they provided some basic biographical facts in a statement. White's presence, however, still speaking volumes, proving that female challengers can compete in one of the military's highest profile events for elite soldiers.
And Courtney Cuby joins us now. Courtney, have you heard anything else from the administration in terms of recognizing Lieutenant White's accomplishment? We haven't, Allison. And of course, this comes after Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has made it very clear that he wants to look at standards for how men and women in the military are competing against one another. But the reality is, here, this Best Ranger competition is the exact example of a case
where men and now one woman are competing on the exact same turf, the exact same obstacle courses, and meeting the exact same standards. And Allison, what's really remarkable about the case of First Lieutenant Gabrielle White is that there were 103 men, one woman, and she made it all the way to the end, finishing 13th with her partner. It really is a show that there are women. It is proof that there are women who can meet these standards, no matter man or woman here. Allison, thank you. When you return the rise in autism,
There are some women that
study
can.
just out, why have the rates among children gone up? Plus the sudden drop in domestic air travel. One major airline now cutting back on flights. So does that mean cheaper tickets for you?
Alright, enough of the news. Hey, I'll see you, Kerwin. Till next time.
And I'm Kate Snow.
Let's see, what we gonna throw on here? Alright, Kerwin. I'll be on here damn near every day. You'll see me. Back to the murder mystery. Alright, here, let me see here. We got some bread here.
Starring Ben Affleck and John Bernthal. Only in theaters April 25th.
I can't wait for my parents to meet you tomorrow.
Can't wait.
Oh, by the way, my dad became a dynamics in NASA. Bye.
Hey, man, what the heck is a thermodynamics?
A thermodynamics that studies energy and heat transfer.
Hey, man, explain thermal balance.
It manages heat generation.
So it optimizes fuel efficiency.
Exactly.
So can't wait to take your brain about the transition from liquid fuel to hybrid propellants. What? I sell insurance. What? I'm kidding. I'll tell you all about it. I'll tell you all. I would know why. Every suspect
Sure, it's nice and clean, huh?
has the right to remain silent. Many agree to be interrogated anyway.
Looks
But
good.
they can stop the game at any moment, making it a race against time. Justice hangs in the balance.
It sucks because it's frozen. I should have taken it out earlier. You know what? I'm gonna restart this one.
When I arrived on scene, there were
What's that?
people sitting on their screened-in patios while we were out there. They watched